O Lord, let me see, show me, how you will revive the dead. How will you raise the dead again to life? قَالَ أَوَلَمْ تُؤْمِنْ? Allah asked, do you not believe? قَالَ بَلَىٰ. He said, why not? I believe. I have the faith. وَلَكِنَّ يَطْمَئِنَّ قَلْبِي. But I want that I should have the conviction, deepest conviction. My heart should be absolutely at rest. There shouldn't be an iota of doubt in me. So because I want that total and absolute conviction, that is why I have requested you to show to me. قَالَ فَخُذْ أَرْبَعَةً مِّنَ الطَّيْرِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, take 4 birds, فَصُرْهُنَّ إِلَيْكَ. Tame them to incline to you. Tame them so that when you call them, they respond to you, they come to you. ثُمَّ اجْعَلْ عَلَىٰ كُلِّ جَبَلٍ مِّنْهُنَّ جُزْءًا. Now, the details are not here. The details are, which are omitted. Now kill them, slaughter them, and divide their bodies into parts, and then part of every bird, some parts of mix them and keep them on different hills. ثُمَّ اجْعَلْ عَلَىٰ كُلِّ جَبَلٍ مِّنْهُنَّ جُزْءًا ثُمَّ ادْعُوهُنَّ. Then you call them the way which you had made them accustomed to respond. يَأْتِينَكَ سَعْيًا. You will see that they will be coming to you running. وَعْلَمْ أَنَّ اللَّهَ عَزِيزٌ حَكِيمٌ. And you should know and keep it in mind, and you should be convinced that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is almighty, all powerful, and He has the all total wisdom also. Now come 2 sections, and they are regarding infaq fi sabilillah. How balanced, you know. Full 2 sections were there regarding the fighting for the cause of Allah. Although it was related to the past history of Bani Israel. Scattered ayat we have found at many places about qital. Scattered ayat have been mentioned and have appeared at many places about infaq. But 2 sections, full 2 sections about qital, we have already read. Now 2 sections, full 2 sections about infaq. مَثَلُ الَّذِينَ يُنْفِقُونَ أَمْوَالَهُمْ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ. The likeness of those who have spent their wealth and money in the way of Allah. Now this should be very clear, what does it mean in the way of Allah? Infaq fi sabilillah has a definite connotation. There is another word, sadaqah. Sadaqah is charity. Charity is basically for the poor, the needy, the miskin, the beggar, sa'il. This is sadaqah. Infaq fi sabilillah is actually jihad fi sabilillah bil mal, for the cause of Allah. What's the cause of Allah? Cause of Allah is that His deen should be supreme. As the Christians pray, Thy kingdom come, Thy will be done on earth as it is in heavens. On this earth also, the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala should be fulfilled. The law of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala should be enforced. This is the cause of Allah. And if you spend your money and your wealth for this purpose, this is infaq fi sabilillah. So actually, you keep it in mind. Sadaqah, infaq, ita'i mal, zakat, these are different terms. And every term has a definite connotation of its own. Although they can be interchanged, they can be used one in one another's place. Then qarz hasana, man dhal ladhi yuqridu Allah qarzan hasana. Who is that person who can dare give Allah loan, goodly loan? And these 2 terms, the loan to Allah, because when you are spending for the deen of Allah, it's a loan, personal loan to Allah. When you are spending your wealth for establishing the deen of Allah, it's an infaq fi sabilillah. It's a part of jihad. Jihad fi sabilillah bil mal, that is infaq. Jihad fi sabilillah bil nafs, The final stage is qital. When you go risking your life, you go to the field of battle, risking your life. مَثَلُ الَّذِينَ يُنْفِقُونَ أَمْوَالَهُمْ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ. The similitude or likeliness of those who spend and expend their money and wealth for the cause of Allah, in the way of Allah, كَمَثَلِ حَبَّةٍ أَنبَتَتْ سَبْعَ سَنَابِلَ, is to the likeness of a grain which grows 7 ears. فِي كُلِّ سُنبُلَةٍ مِّئَةُ حَبَّةٍ, and in each and every ear there are 100 grains. So 1 grain of wheat, now the plant, in that are 7 ears, and in every ear there are 100 grains. So 1 grain has grown into 700 grains. The same is the similitude, that if you spend for the cause of Allah, your reward will be 700 times at least. Why at least? Because Allah says, وَاللَّهُ يُضَاعِفُ لِمَن يَشَاءُ. Allah will double it for whomsoever He wishes. It can be 1400 times. But that is at the discretion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. مَن يَشَاءُ وَاللَّهُ يُضَاعِفُ لِمَن يَشَاءُ. For whomsoever He pleases or wills, He will double it. وَاللَّهُ وَاسِعٌ عَلِيمٌ. And Allah is all-embracing, all-knowing. الَّذِينَ يُنْفِقُونَ أَمْوَالَهُمْ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ ثُمَّ لَا يُتْبِعُونَ مَا أَنفَقُوا مَنًّا وَلَا أَذًى. Those who spend their mal, they spend their wealth and money fi sabilillah, in the way of Allah, summa la yutbi'una ma anfaqu, then that they don't follow what they have expended with reproach and injury. And the other meaning may be by reminding of charity and generosity. Anyhow, this infaq fi sabilillah, some person will be benefiting, and it will come in the end, inshallah, who they should be. Let me explain here, so that it becomes clear through all this discussion. When there is a struggle, a revolutionary movement to establish the deen of Allah, to make it supreme, there must be certain people who become whole-time workers. Otherwise it won't work. Part-time workers cannot bring about a revolution. Part-time work can be a social service. Part-time work can be this type of thing, some education, some training, some social service. For revolutionary purpose, you must have people who are whole-time, whole-hearted, devoted fully. Otherwise there can be no revolutionary struggle. Now these people, who will support them? They also need